Today we're going to read Merci Suarez Changes Gears, written by Medina. Now, this particular Hispanic heritage book won the John Newbery Medal Award for the most distinguished contribution to American literature for children. Chapter 1. To think. Only yesterday I was in chancletas, sipping lemonade and watching my twin cousins run through the sprinkler in the yard. And now I'm here in Mr. Pratchett's class, sweating in my polyester school blazer and waiting for this torture to be over. We're only halfway through health and PE when he adjusts his tight collar and says, "Time to go." And I stand and push in my chair like we're always supposed to, grateful that picture day means that class ends early. At least we don't have to start reading the first chapter in the textbook. I'm okay, you're okay, on differences we develop. Gross. "Coming, Miss Suarez?" he asks me as he flips off the lights, and that's when I realize I'm the only one still waiting for him to tell me to line up. Everyone else has already headed out the door. This is sixth grade, so there won't be one of the PTA moms walking us down to the photographer. Last year, our escort pumped us up by gushing the whole way about how handsome and beautiful we all looked on the first day of school, which was a big stretch since a few of us had mouthfuls of braces or big gaps between our front teeth. And that's over now. Here at Seaward Pines Academy, sixth graders don't have the same teacher all day like Mrs. Miller in the fifth grade. Now we have homerooms and lockers. We switched classes. We can finally try out for sports teams. And we know how to get ourselves down to picture day just fine. Or at least the rest of my class does. I grab my new book bag and hurry out to join the others. It's a wall of heat out here. It won't be a far walk, but August in Florida is brutal, so it doesn't take long for my glasses to fog up and the curls at my temples to spring into tight coils. I try my best to stick to the shade near the building, but it's hopeless. The slate path that winds to the front of the gym cuts right across the quad, where there's not a single scrawny palm tree to shield us. It makes me wish we had one of those thatch roof walkways that my grandfather Lolo can build out of fronds. "How do I look?" someone asks. And I dry my lenses on my shirt tail and I glance over. We're all in the same uniform, but some of the girls got special hairdos for the occasion, I notice. A few were even flat ironed. You can tell from the little burns on their necks. Too bad they don't have some of my curls. Not that everyone appreciates them, of course. Last year, a kid named Dylan said that I look like a lion, which is fine with me, because I love those big cats. Mommy is always nagging me about keeping it out of my eyes, but she doesn't know that hiding behind it is the best part. This morning, she slapped a school issue headband on me. All it's done so far is give me a headache and make my glasses look crooked. "Hey," I say, "it's a broiler out here. I know a shortcut." And the girls stop in a glob and look at me. The path I'm pointing to is clearly marked with a sign. "Maintenance crews only. No students beyond this point." No one in this crowd is much for breaking rules, but sweat is already beaded above their glossy lips, so maybe they'll be sensible. They're looking to one another, but mostly to Edna Santos. "Come on, Edna," I say, deciding to go straight to the top. "Come on, it's faster and we're melting out here." And she frowns at me, considering the options. She may be a teacher's pet, but I've seen Edna bend a rule or two, and making faces outside her classroom as if she's on a bathroom pass, changing an answer for a friend when we're self-checking a quiz. How much worse can this be? And I take a step closer. Is she taller than me now? And I pull back my shoulders just in case. She looks older somehow than she did in June when we were in the same class. Maybe it's the blush on her cheeks or the mascara that's making those little raccoon circles under her eyes. I try not to stare and just go for the big guns. "You want to look sweaty in your pictures?" I say. Cha-ching! And in no time, I'm leading the pack of us along the gravel path. We cross the maintenance parking lot, dodging debris, and back here is where Seaward hides the riding mowers and all the other untidy equipment they need to make the campus look like the brochures. Poppy and I parked here last summer when we did some painting as a trading for our book fees. I don't tell anyone that, though, because Mommy says that it's a private matter. But mostly I keep quiet because I'm trying to erase the memory. Seaward's gym is ginormous, so it took us 3 whole days to paint it. Plus, our school colors are fire engine red and gray. You know what happens when you stare at bright red for too long? You start to see green balls in front of your eyes every time you look away. Try doing detail work in that blinding condition. For all that, the school should give me and my brother Rolly a whole library, not just a few measly textbooks. Poppy had other ideas, of course. Do a good job in here, he insisted, so that we're serious people. I hate when he says that. Do people think that we're clowns? It's like we've always got to prove something. Anyway, we made it to the gym in half the time. The back door is propped open the way I knew it would be. The head custodian keeps a milk crate jammed in the doorframe so that he can read his paper in peace when no one's looking. This way, I say, using my take charge voice. I've been trying to perfect it since it's never too early to work on your corporate leadership skills, according to the manual Poppy got from the mail from the Chamber of Commerce, along with the what to do in a hurricane guidelines. And so far it's working. I walk us along back rooms and even past the boys' locker room, which smells like bleach and dirty socks. And when we reach a set of double doors, I pull them open proudly. I've saved us all from that awful trudge through the heat. Ta-da! I say. And unfortunately, as soon as we step inside, it's obvious that I've landed us all in hostile territory. If you would like to see what else happens for Merci Suarez changes gears, please come check it out of the library. We have it in realistic fiction, and its reading level is Q.